Hey guys, welcome back. Two Brothers Off Script here.
Hey.
We're doing things new and different every time, but this time we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. I'm Ryan.
I'm Jerry.
And this is your first time. We're just going to talk about some things that matter to us. So, what's in your cup today, Jerry?
Well, I'm running the traditional here. If you notice, there's some differences on this side of the table. I am running the coffee with creamer, and in the backup today, I have a unknown bottle of wedding beer that one of my friends from work brewed and made for her wedding. Homebrew.
Yeah.
And it's unlikely, hopefully, to cause any permanent damage. What do you
Hopefully
running?
it's good. Well, just to try out the new cup, really, and my throat's been a little dry lately, so I'm drinking a little water in here, and as my backup, I'm rocking the Silver City Fat Scotch Ale, and this is delicious. And I let you try some of it before, and it was very good. Scotch. It's a good one. So yeah, I got the Kylo Ren mug. My wife picked it up for me.
That's nice. That's awesome.
She saw the show. She was
just
like,
being supportive.
Help you out with this. Give you something new, and maybe we'll do different mugs eventually. Or
Do you feel like your wife is a fan of the show?
I feel like she is very supportive.
She is supportive
of the show. I think that both of our wives are probably the most supportive.
They've been very patient with us.
Fans of the show.
Thank you very much.
Despite the jokes.
Yes.
So, anyways,
how was your week? What's new with you this week?
This week so far has just been pretty normal. Got some gifts that came in thanks to your help, and we had
loot. You got loot.
I got loot. I commissioned my grandfather to make a toy chest for my kid, so that he would have that, and he ended up throwing in an extra front bench that Tiffany had been admiring, so I know that made her happy. And
if you're ever in Pendleton, Oregon's
the place to go.
You can buy wood furniture.
Fine wood furniture.
It's fantastic.
Handcrafted, repurposed, reclaimed wood. Still so good. So I still have to. I'm actually going to do the staining on that myself. It's going to look. Hopefully, I don't screw it up because I think I only get one of them. It's kind of.
Oh, you only get one?
I probably only get one.
So be careful.
Be careful.
Right.
I have to learn how to stain. I don't do a lot of that. I'll paint, but I don't stain. So, anyways, week's been pretty good, and I'm not too worried about anything. I think I got friends in the right places, as it would be.
No, that's good.
Yeah, and that brings us to our topic. This week, we're going to discuss what friends mean to us and what kind of person we are as a friend to somebody else, brothers.
The way we see it, at least.
The way we see it. Our perception is the only perception that matters. It is true. My perception matters more to me than your perception does. Unless I tell you that your opinion matters more to me, then I will always be honest and say, my opinion matters the most. Now, I might not go through with my opinion, but I think everybody kind of feels the same way. And I would say that I'm selfishly honest about that. I don't want anyone to ever get the impression of me that, hey, could you come help me move some furniture? I don't have any desire to do that, is my answer most of the time. I will help. I've helped as many people have helped me, I think, and I would definitely not recommend buying a truck unless you want to help other people move. I don't have one, but eventually I plan on getting one, so it's going to be one of those things where I'll
So your advice is if you don't want to help your friends move, don't buy a truck.
Because I'm a jerk like that. So no, that's.
I feel like that must apply to trailers then too.
Yeah.
I was thinking after I was hauling that trailer full of loot over, because we got some loot out of that.
Yeah.
Also,
Would you score?
Absolutely gorgeous coffee table with these steel wheels underneath it.
Okay.
And a craft table, and then an outdoor bench thing. Also,
you got one of the benches.
Yeah, it's a little bit different shape. I think it used to be like part of a bed frame.
Okay.
And yours has like a wagon wheel.
Yeah.
On top of it, so
those are. He said he got those wagon wheels out of the mud, like they
really
went
awesome.
down there by where the Oregon Trail went through, and I don't know if that's. I mean, I got some early American art, basically.
That's pretty cool.
Sitting on my front porch. It's pretty cool to look at. So.
Yeah. So I think that maybe to start off with, on the topic of friendship, like something that I was impacted a lot was something our mom used to say about if you want to have a lot of friends, be friendly. Right? So go out of your way, go out of your comfort zone to approach people, to invite people to stuff, to make an opening for stuff, for events, for things to happen, and that will essentially in the process of washing people out.
Yeah.
Right? And saying, hey, yeah, so I invited this guy over to a barbecue, and they didn't show up on time, and they made a big mess, and then they left early. Right?
Right.
Like...
Now you know.
Now you know. Don't invite him back.
Right.
And then that's it, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you're making that effort, especially if somebody talks about an opportunity for a need, to your point of moving or whatever it is. I tend to be the kind of person in general that if somebody asks me, hey, can you help me move? I'll say, sure, right? I'll try to help them out.
Regrettably.
Oh, yes, I'm going to hurt.
At the end of this
Right,
process.
I'm going to be sore. I'm going to, bang one of your antique pieces of furniture into your drywall and scratch it on the way down the hallway.
Hey, we're bringing Papa Murphy's over as payment later.
Not because I don't care about your furniture, but because I was the one, because I was taller than everyone else, who was they were generally like, hey, you're tall, so you should lift everything that's more than 50 pounds, right?
Right.
And then you get to the end of the day and you're exhausted, your arms are falling off.
I've had to move.
That's not fun.
I've had to move a lot.
A lot.
I've moved probably, let's see, 5 times, I think, in the last 5 years.
That's a lot.
At least.
Yeah.
And then that's, it was just getting on from, your lease expires or something. And
sure.
It's like, do I want to live next to the smoker house again, or do I want to try and be in a quieter spot or something? And we had some pretty loud neighbors. One of our first apartments, we were living on the bottom floor of a little tri-level thing going on there, so it was very loud, and then we thought it was going to flood and stuff during the heavy rains. So we
things to be concerned about.
Yeah. So
I think it's just though that if you want that friendship, if you want friends in your life, if you want people that care about you, if you want to have meaningful relationships, you got to try.
Yeah, I try not to be an annoying neighbor by going up and asking nicely, could you not chop wood on your hearth in the middle of the morning, because it's a loud banging at 6:30 in the morning for no reason. I'm happy you're a homebody with a wood fireplace and you want to use it, but literally chopping wood on my ceiling is kind of annoying.
So would you say at the end of that experience though you were not friends?
No, it was literally 2 or 3 interactions of basically just having to say, could you please, as friendly as possible,
it's frustrating.
Don't do this during these particular times. And then they complied, and it was all good. We didn't have any real issues with them. Never had to call the cops on anybody that we lived near. And there was
well, that's a high point.
Well, yeah, but your first apartment, you move in because it's cheap, and
right.
The space is just right, and then you find out why it's so cheap because it's in a terrible neighborhood. And
That's stressful, though.
You're just not paying attention to any of those things, and then somebody puts the flyer on everybody's mailbox that says, so-and-so has just moved into the neighborhood, and he is forced by law to report that his presence is now within 1,000 feet of you.
So that's just creepy.
So you say, okay, it's time to move on, and this is what I'm going to do about that.
I tend to just invite people to do stuff. Yeah. I invite people for dinner. I invite people to the movies. I invite people to hang out because I don't know. I think it's hard for people. To make that step. I think it's hard for most of us to say, "Hey, you want to go do something?" Yeah. Right? Hey, do you want to go hang out? And risk.
There's fear of rejection a lot.
Well, sure, but I mean, even if you get rejected, the downside is that you made the effort.
Right. It's not like asking somebody out on a date or something.
Right. It's like, hey, do you want to go see the movie? I'm going to go, regardless of whether or not you say yes. But hey, do you want to go see the movie?
Right.
I'm going to go see it.
But if you know this person, or if you met this person on the street, or if you met this person at an event that you knew people at, and you met them at the wedding, you met them at a house party, you met them at church, you met them at work. Work friends are the best because they are almost always a lot more relaxed because they know that if you do anything, crazy or out of sorts, you might not be at a job, and they can just keep going, or they can quit their job and move on. But that doesn't usually happen.
I've had the opposite effect. I feel like my work friends have been, for the most part, some of the relationships I was most disappointed in the long run.
Yeah.
Because you can work so closely with somebody and talk about life and know about issues and understand what they're going through, and they understand what you're going through, and you guys can have great conversations. Male friends, female friends, married friends, single friends, just people, right? And you can have these great relationships, and then you leave. In my case, again, we've talked about I've changed jobs a lot of times. You leave, and it's like,
did you ever exist?
You cease to exist, right? Yeah. Like, I've had people, I've been to their house. I've played with their kids. Right? And we've had great conversations and great interactions, and then all of a sudden it's like, you're gone, you've moved, and they don't, as individuals, make that effort. And you can, I've made the effort. I'll call people, and I'll say, hey, how's it going? Just want to follow up with you, see what's going on. Oh, great. And you kind of hear about their lives. Thanks for calling. And then they never call you back.
Gone again. Yeah.
And you can even the second time or the third time, you can make that effort to call somebody. Hey, how's it going?
I want to define that right now. That's a habit friend. That's somebody who is basically so commonplace in your life that they become like a force of habit. When I'm around this person, I'm friendly with them.
Yeah.
And we do things together because we're forced into this closeness.
But you can really enjoy it.
You can enjoy it. That's why it works, because it's like, all right, I know this person is going to exist, so I have no fear of that loss. But as soon as you go away, they have to fill that habit with somebody else.
But
they are probably friends with the person in the position that you were in at that point.
Maybe they are, but there's
it's a leading person.
Like you said, though, it's an individual. It's your personality, right? It's your personality that determines the kinds of friends that you have. We're all exposed to hundreds and hundreds of people around us.
Yeah.
Right? Through church or work or relationships or Facebook, and I'll say this, I don't think that Facebook friends are friends.
Unless 90% of the if you knew them before Facebook, if that generation
But clicking a like button,
they gave you the other options.
As a form of social interaction that you're going to choose to execute in a relationship that has any value or meaning to you, it's just so shallow to me.
Yeah.
There's I can't remember, we watched some movie recently, and they're sitting on there and they're yelling at each other. Hey, I went and I posted Instagram photos, and you didn't like them. No, I looked at every one of them. No, but you didn't like them. My other friends liked the videos.
Oh,
liked the photos, and I'm like, it's so but it's so true.
Right.
That issue is so true. Where you can have there's no sense of tone or emotional context or anything.
Likes are definitely for the other person. I don't like any video that I don't want the other person
to know that you liked.
I want them to know that I paid attention to their post. Or there are a few instances where I actually like the post, and I'm saying I like this post, and the other person can agree with me. Hopefully, you didn't put it up there in the first place without the intent of not just getting likes or getting winks or pokes or whatever it is, but you basically
winks, pokes, backstabs.
You got
prep.
attention,
It is
which
vanish.
I can view a post, and the person doesn't know I looked at it. But as long as I like it, they know that I'm paying attention to them, and that's the minimum social interaction.
Man, I guess, but I just I mean I feel like this element of Facebook liking, I can like tie it right together with the way texting doesn't create friendship.
Right.
Like texting, it does not create friendship because there's no tone. There's no emotion. So if you think somebody's, but it's devoid of natural emotion. So you have to make an additional effort to add emotion to your text
through emojis. That's what they're for, Terry.
But you have to show somebody like what your emotion was in texting, and you're like, but so and so didn't text my wife. Will say this, and I love my wife, but my wife will say this. So and so didn't text me back. Did you call them? No.
Yeah, it's going one step further is sometimes too far.
Like
it's hard to call people.
It's not hard to call. It's the buttons right next to each other. The two buttons are together.
Yeah.
Send the text and call. Like, I don't understand how typing out a 50 character, 100 character, 200 character message is harder than clicking one green button.
You can say whatever you want in a text.
You can say whatever you want to them on the phone.
No, because you can have text regret where you send the message and then, oh no, I shouldn't have sent that.
It's too late.
It's too late.
If you say it in...
You can cover your tracks, because if somebody gets two texts in a row, like, haha, I ran over your cat, and then the next text is
I ran over your cat.
JK, the first text is a horrible thing, and the second text is, okay, it's all better now. So you can kind of follow up a text quickly enough sometimes to alleviate the burden or whatever.
But did you really run over their cat?
I'm not saying I did or I didn't. But, I don't know.
The cat we told the girls the cat went wild.
It probably did.
Oh, we don't know where the cat is.
It lost. Though.
It is lost.
Whatever game it was playing, it lost in the wild.
It's wild. Our cat went wild. I don't know where it is.
Fending for itself against coyotes.
I feel like I want to have meaningful friendships. I want to be able to talk about deep issues. I want to be able to talk about real things that are going on in life. I even want to be able to talk about politics and movies and, hard social issues, even if we disagree. I mean, I have several friends. I view myself as a more conservative, libertarian person. Mm-hmm. And I have several friends who view themselves as more progressive, democratic folks, more liberal folks, and we can have conversations about an issue without having to fight about it because we're talking about an issue. We're not talking about personalities involved and stuff like that. That's good friendship. When you can talk about things and disagree about them, and then go away and come back and still have time together later on, that's meaningful. It adds character and value to your life. I feel like. I mean, it adds to that. You were talking about. What was that example you were kind of talking about?
The quickest example I can give for anybody I would consider a real friend, and I don't have many. I know a lot of people, but everybody has a life nowadays, and so it's hard to basically make yourself a priority in somebody else's already existent life. If I had to ask anybody, do you know someone who you can call at 12:30 at night when you're driving home, and you get 30 miles from your destination, maybe it's 30 miles, you're almost there, and you're 30 miles away, and you call them up and you say, hey, I just got a flat tire, my car broke down, I can't can't fix it myself, and it's late, they're probably asleep, or maybe they're a night owl as well, but they happen to just answer the call, but they give you the excuse, or they say, no, I can't help you, I have something more important going on.
And this is different than the moving example,
Yeah,
because this is like somebody's stuck on the side of the road.
They're literally possibly going to save your life from whatever the elements or crazy car that comes by and hits you or something like that. Let's say you're in a more serious situation. You're in a car accident, but it's not a bad one, but it's disabled your vehicle. You have to wait for the cops to come, and then you have to wait for a tow truck, and you need somebody to come get you,
right?
Because you can't usually, you can ride, I don't know what the rules are, whatever. You need a ride 30 miles away. Can you call somebody?
Yeah.
And know for sure that that person that picks up the other end of the phone is gonna come get you. Or, worst case scenario, that person's gonna come bail you out of jail or something like that.
Should we exclude family from this?
To some degree, because we're talking about friends. Like family. Like I told my wife, and she never liked this or whatever, but I said, I'm not your best friend. You should have somebody else you can talk to that you consider your best friend, because if I'm your best friend, that means you talk crap about me. To me. And that's not constructive criticism, that's just being mean, you know? Like, I don't need to know all the details of all the little things that I do that are annoying but aren't really, you know, worth like leaving me for and all.
So you're looking for some ignorance.
I want that type of relationship. Like, I think our relationship is above friendship. Because there's
agree.
no question to answer the call on that. Mm-hmm. But if you have a true friend, they're always going to answer the call.
Yeah.
Unless they are absolutely detained otherwise. They're in jail, and they called you, and you say, sorry, man, I'm 30 miles outside of town. If you get
also in jail,
could you come get me? You know, or whatever the situation may be.
Oh, that's funny.
So
would you say, I think it's a great test for friendship. Would you say that you have people in your life who are like that now, beyond?
No.
That's hard. I would say
it's not hard. Not for me. It's been a long time since I had a friend who I wasn't basically helping out anyways. Like, I'm not saying like I was a gift to this person or whatever, but I always kind of feel like a lot of the friends that I have or had earlier on, you know, I was looking for somebody who needed me. I wanted to be the guy showing up. You know what I mean? Like, I felt that if I could help somebody, save somebody, provide a room for somebody who didn't have a place to stay on their own or something. Like, I helped out a lot of friends growing up, and I enjoyed being able to help them. And when I saw them in hard times, and I thought that I might be able to counsel them or help them get through that tough time or something, I was like, come crash on my couch, man. I'll give you a room for 6 months, no problem, no rent, no big deal. And then, you know,
so it made you
feel
good. It made you feel good to be.
It made me feel better to be a good friend to somebody. And going back to the moving thing, is like, I've helped a lot of people move, but I've had more people help me move. So
sure.
I don't know if that's just because I'm persuasive or whatever, because my offering is usually cash. Like, I'm not looking to give you a burnt Papa Murphy's pizza or something like that. I want to
love Papa Murphy's pizza.
Pay you for your time, because your time is what I'm using,
right.
and your vehicle is what I'm using, and that's value to me, you know, because it gets me to the end goal of, I don't just want to be, you know, your friend necessarily. I want to know you, but what I need from you right now, in all honesty, is I need your vehicle, and I need your arms, and I need somebody that's willing to risk their back, you know, stepping down some stairs wrong or something. And thankfully we have family, you know, that can help a lot. And but most of my friends, you know, the people that I know, my work friends and stuff, like, I get along great with these people, and despite annoyances, we're very what's that word?
Friendly.
We get along. We're friendly, but you know, we wouldn't go out of our way probably for each other, just because it's not what our relationship is about.
Right.
So if I had to ask, you know, someone that question, and the answer wasn't, you know, like, oh yeah, I know somebody for sure, then I would say then you don't really have a true friend. Now, everybody can't be there all the time for everybody, or maybe it's a 1,000-mile difference, and that person might be your true friend, but they are just absolutely unable
at that time. Yeah.
So, and that's, I mean, my wife's best friends are basically, 15 to like 2,000 miles apart, or
that's hard.
Out in Ohio with her. So, she gets to go see them every once in a while. Hopefully, sometime next year or so, she'll be able to fly out there. So, I mean, and that's kind of how I feel about that. But
okay. So. Well, probably my final thoughts on it are really just that I think that I definitely have people in my life that I've, over the years, that I've been able to develop those relationships with, and those relationships have certainly not been where we always agreed or where we always got along. They've had some of the conflicts in them that you have, I think, in any family relationship, and I think that's really the key to having best friends is viewing them like family and giving them that trust up front to be hurt, that trust up front to be vulnerable, that trust up front to give them information that could hurt you or be vulnerable, or make you vulnerable to them hurting you at some point. Very similar to the way that it would apply in a family relationship, or it would apply in a relationship if you were trying to make it more or more impactful or more special to you, is you would share things that matter. You would be honest about what matters and risk rejection. And I think in the situations where you do that, and then where you're willing to not only meet them halfway, but sometimes sacrifice a lot for them, when you make that phone call and you're asking them to sacrifice a lot for you, the answer is always yes. And I've been very, very fortunate to have those relationships in my life. And I think it's the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is go out and be vulnerable and try to be friendly to people and take the risk. Yeah. I think it makes your life a better thing. A better thing.
A better
thing. Life.
And so, yeah, we're happy to do it. The conversation, that is. It's always been my goal to have more friends. And so, those of you that may consider us friends, go ahead and share it if you agree, and we'll see what comes of this.
All right.
Anyways, have a good night, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.